Notts County Talk. We are joined by Adam Dunleavy and Holly Fowler of the Notts County women's team, who, as of today at 4 p.m, were promoted. Two people that, they're fans of the club, and it's been in them working for 3 years now, so they've been working tirelessly towards this. So Adam, just tell me, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's massive. It means a huge amount. Obviously, like you touched on there, I'm a sort of fan of the club going back since I was a kid, and it's in the family. Worked at football in the community for sort of 7 or 8 years, and spent the football club's played a huge part in my life. So yeah, to be able to be a part of this journey and secure promotion with the women's team it's a dream come true. We're over the moon. Absolutely fantastic.
The reaction on Twitter as well, social media has been fantastic. See how many people are just delighted for it. We came, I think we've already spoke about this. We came down in May 2019 for the game at Meadow Lane, and even then, the atmosphere it was special. And to play at Meadow Lane, I know was a big occasion. But since then, obviously, we've seen the women's team just grow and grow. Holly, how did you find out then today that you've been promoted?
So we had a meeting today organised by both the Adams. We kind of thought it was going to be about retrialling because we've got trials this weekend and basically about that kind of thing. We thought it was going to be quite a serious meeting, but then obviously it was announced that we were kind of promoted, and it was kind of good to find out with all the girls kind of first before it was officially announced and kind of share that moment with them, which was really special because a lot of those players have been there with me and the Adams kind of like from the 3 years from the start, so it was kind of nice to see that all pay off and actually kind of have something to be kind of cheerful about for the first time.
I know it's been 3 years where you've been wanting to get promoted, but obviously COVID has curtailed one season, and then this season. How did you have to go about applying for promotion this time around?
Yeah, so obviously I think there was a kind of realisation within the women's pyramid and at the FA that kind of teams that were trying to progress and kick on were getting bottlenecked and stuck because of the COVID situation. And there was then about a compromise on making sure that teams that were down the bottom end weren't kind of unfairly relegated without being able to finish their season, whilst also giving opportunities for teams that are aspirational to get an upward movement. So yeah, we were asked to, all clubs were asked if they wanted to put an application through. A big chunk of that criteria was based on on-field performances over the last 2 seasons, so taking into account sort of points per game, performance in the League Cup, FA Cup, and then the other kind of remaining percentage was built up around facilities, structure, pathway, governance, and things like that. So yeah, I worked a huge amount on getting that together and sort of submitting that to the FA before the deadline. And then it's just been a case of us sort of sitting on our hands for best part of sort of 6 to 8 weeks waiting for the outcome of that. And obviously, yeah, it's been good news for us today, so it's fantastic.
Was it fairly confident? Go on, George.
Sorry. I was going to say, was it the entirety of the club that knew that you'd applied for that, or was it just sort of yourself and a couple of others?
Yeah, no, so I mean, we were all aware, got everybody on board. I sort of let the committee know that that's what we wanted to do, and they were supportive and behind that, and they've sort of supported us along that process as well. And everybody was aware, the players were aware. I think it's just been so long coming. We wanted it so badly and worked so hard towards it. It would have been daft not to apply. I think we've kind of earned the right. As much as we haven't been able to complete a season, we've done everything and built the club and the work that people behind the scenes have done to grow the club in terms of the move to Baseford and all the other things that go along with what me and Ads do on the pitch with the girls. Everything's moving in the right direction, and it's just rewards for that, really.
So the team knew about the application as well. The players knew all about that. Yeah. So Holly, how was that 6 to 8 weeks for you? Obviously, performances have been good, results have been very good on the pitch. So were you confident that Notts women would be promoted?
Yeah, I was kind of slightly confident because you never know how it's going to go. You don't know what other applications the other teams are obviously submitting, and I don't think we found it out until the day of it being submitted what other teams had applied. So you didn't know who you were up against. But obviously, because it was based on the season's past kind of results, the last couple of seasons we had played less games than everyone else, so our kind of standing in the table didn't look as strong, but then points per game, it did look good if you worked out that way. But if you kind of looked at just a snapshot of the table, then it didn't look as kind of promising. But the application, we saw the application that Dunleavy put together, and I don't think the girls can actually kind of thank him enough for the time he spent putting it together and the amount of hours that went into it. Him and Adam constantly on the phone, like back and forth. So we saw the application after it got in and everything like that. And the team, I don't think it was even a question that they had to ask us about the promotion, because it's something we've just been aiming for and wanted for so long. It was a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, that's good. This is a question for sort of both of you. Now, going forward, then obviously you gain promotion into a league above. Will you be changing anything that you do differently as a player and as a manager?
I think from our perspective, not really. We really pride ourselves on the environment that we create in Notts County, and I think a big part of our success has come for the relationships between the staff and the players, and the relationships between the group of players on the pitch. That carries you a huge amount of weight. We've got some really talented girls in there, but they all fight for each other and they fight for the badge. And we don't need to make wholesale changes. We've played teams in the division above in friendlies and cup competitions, and we've matched or beaten them in the past. We know we're going to be competitive in there. So for us, it's just about fine tuning, making sure we're reinforcing the culture and making sure everybody's sort of singing from the same hymn sheet, making sure the players that are going to be here want to kick on and progress the club and are taking that seriously, which, I think they all will do. So no, it's not wholesale changes. It's probably, one or two new faces with a bit of experience to come and help us out. And then, this squad's more than capable of being competitive in the division above. And we've got some great characters in the dressing room that we know are going to sort of kick us on from here.
So you both joined roughly at the same time, three years ago. Is that right? Roughly at the same time. So in those 3 years, how much has that squad stuck together, or has there been quite a few changes over the 3 years?
I'd say from the squad that we had in the first season, I think we've got at least maybe 8 to 10 players from that in the first team still. There's a few that were in the development team and then have progressed through to the first team, which is obviously the pathway that we want to create. So that's been a success. So I think at least 10 players have been there kind of all 3 seasons at least, and that's why I think it works. And obviously everyone that comes in, everyone gets along. So it's that kind of feeling of the kind of team energy that has been successful. And I think a lot of teams that don't have that kind of struggle, but luckily that we have that bond, and any player that does come in is able to fit into that, because we're a very welcoming team anyway, so it's quite an easy mold to fit into. But having that on the pitch and having that like kind of energy to fight for each other, it's just really what pushes the team forward.
Yeah, I got most of that. I think there's a bit of a connection issue. Sounds like it's down to probably world-class management, I think, of the team. I'll put that down to, if that's what I've got from that. What kind of teams will you be facing next year then, Adam?
So it's on paper, it's really good. We've got some local clubs and badge clubs, and also clubs that perhaps aren't as recognisable in the men's game, but have been real long stays and mainstays of the women's game. So we've got Mansfield Town, Northampton Town, Rotherham United. We'll also have teams like Leicester City, who aren't the women's team that have gone up to the WSL, but I think they're potentially the oldest and most consistently existing women's football team in the country. So whilst the men's side are not as well known, there's some some real strong teams in there for the women's game, and I think it's now a great opportunity for us as well with teams, especially like Mansfield. I had a phone call with their chairman earlier today. He phoned to congratulate us, and we just see this as a massive opportunity now to kick on and kind of push the women's game in the East Midlands, because you guys came down to that game against Oadby at Meadow Lane. There was 1,000 fans there, loads of kids there. It was a great environment. So if we can manage that against a team that a lot of Notts fans probably wouldn't know about, versus a great rivalry like Stags Magpies, and get that game on at a professional stadium and get the word out, that there's got a huge potential to be a massive game, massive attendance, and a fantastic opportunity for us to put on a great display and advertise the women's game in the East Mids.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an ambitious club. We speak to Holly quite a bit. We know how ambitious they are. For fans that aren't yet fully aware of sort of the pyramid system, how far from where you want to be
So I think
at the minute?
it's kind of all relative, I guess. So as with anything in football, in the women's games, the same. It comes down to finance and investment and things at a certain level. We're at tier 5 now, so the fifth division down. The next promotion will be the Women's National League, which is a 2-tiered a system, and then above that is the Championship and WSL. So yeah, I think in terms of where we can be, we offer a huge amount more than most of the clubs do at our level. Our setup and facilities will comfortably be competitive in the National League and beyond. And then in terms of things we can offer, in terms of the gym access with our partners at Football in the Community and analysis that we're bringing in, match day analysis and clipping of games and things like that. That puts us in a really strong place to get those marginal gains to kick on from where we are now. And then, National League from there comes the obvious, like I say, investment. So it would need more money, more investment. And that's just part and parcel of the progression of the club. So we're sort of taking it one step at a time. We're all really excited to be promoted. We're under no illusions that division is going to be really difficult next year. So it's about consolidating in there and building and assessing where we're at, and then putting a plan together to kick on. And yeah, like I say, one step at a time, but there's certainly no limit to the ambition of the club. We want to get as high as we possibly can in the women's pyramid, and we'll continue to work to that as we go.
Yeah, so go on, Tom.
No, I was going to say, Holly, we've just spoken just before we lost you to Adam about sort of goals, but personally, what are your goals coming into the next season?
My goals always are just to kind of play as much football as I can, to get as much minutes on the pitch as I can, to kind of lead the team in the right direction on the pitch and off the pitch. So making sure that everyone's kind of organised and what they're doing and they know where they should be. If anyone's kind of got any issues, I just kind of want to be that kind of figure that can help out. I think my personal goal is to kind of make sure that even if we kind of do lose, because we're not a team that's used to losing, that we know how to kind of pick ourselves up from that, because obviously we've had kind of an unbeaten league success. So when we do lose, it's kind of a bit like, oh, like what's kind of happened? So kind of building on that and knowing that it's going to happen in this league, because it's a tough league, and I know you're speaking about the teams in there like Mansfield, Rotherham, kind of Northampton. They're all really good teams, and Lincoln United, who've just got moved up as well. They're all really, really strong teams. So it's going to happen, and we know it's going to happen. I don't want it to, but it's how we kind of move on from that and how we progress, because I think we've got a really good chance to kind of cement ourselves in that league and be pushing at the kind of top half of it at least.
Yeah, that's great. We sort of asked Adam there when you was coming in and out there with your connection, your ambitions as a player. So what would your ambitions be? Like, how far do you see yourself going with Notts County Women's?
I obviously want to kind of go as far as I can, and I think my goal always when I joined the club as a kind of a Notts fan and obviously supporter of the club in general was to get the team to at least kind of step 4 before ever thinking about giving up my boots, so to speak. I know I'm still young, but I think step 4 is an achievable kind of goal, and I think it'd be really good for the junior section, because a lot of them have been together for like 4 years now, to have that target and aspiration to aim for, so that they can stay at the club all the way through their progression. They can stay with these players that they've played with since they were like 10, 11, and they've got a kind of real high aim to kind of achieve. So I think step 4 at least is where I want to kind of aim for before ever thinking about kind of stopping, and I think it's possible. It could happen in the next couple of years. You just don't know. It could happen next year. We'll see.
That'd be amazing. Do we have dates for the new season yet at all?
It's all a bit up in the air at the minute. I think first thing you'll probably see is FA Cup preliminary rounds. That's likely to be kind of maybe second week in August, something like that. I reckon probably the season would start first week in September. But then again, if the FA Cup preliminary round, if we're successful in that first week, probably then gets pushed back for FA Cup again. So yeah, I'd say sort of mid-August, early September for the league.
It would be great to get back playing. I know, Holly, we've spoken before about how frustrating it is just to have that break. And I know, especially that the first lockdown when no one really knew what was going on, just to get a consistent season would be pretty special. I know 2 years without regular football is a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
It all sounds incredibly positive. We can tell from both of you the passion for the team is there. Everyone can see that it comes down to watch games, like you've already mentioned a couple of years ago at Medellin. It was an advert for women's football, and I hope a lot more people, as NOTTS rise up, and as Holly, you get promotion to step 4 in the next season, as you've just promised everyone. I hope that it continues to grow, and we'll definitely, as a channel, be behind you. And it's all going very well for you at the minute. So thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your promotion, and hopefully NOTTS men's team can get promoted in the same season. Thanks for coming on.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I just want to say a big thanks for your support, guys, and just to give a shout out to Adam Woolley, my right-hand man as well. He doesn't get enough credit publicly. We couldn't do any of it without him. So big shout out to Ads, and thanks to you guys for all your support. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Congratulations on your promotion.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much.